Alright, trial day 2. What? The ship's doctor and Azure were romantically involved? Well, that's my theory, but I don't actually know if it's really true. Azure would never get involved with that god-awful ship's doctor. But I do admit, they were friends. But would Azure have sent Dr. Crab videos, I wonder? Videos? What do you mean? Azure used to send her boyfriend videos of herself teaching the Orca tricks. I used to help Azure take the videos on her TV phone. Huh. This is an interesting bit of information. So TV phones can shoot videos too, huh? My dumb phone sure can't. These TV phones are amazing. They can even record sounds you and I can't hear. All the equipment we use at Shipshape Aquarium is high-tech. The ship's doctor sends away for all kinds of electronics. So all the high-tech stuff is Dr. Crab's doing, huh? Anyway, I still highly trout Azure's boyfriend was the ship's doctor. But Dr. Crab found a charm yesterday, and he was really shaken by it. That charm looked just like your keepsake of Azura. Yeah, well, she did say she and her boyfriend had matching charms. Are the ship's doctor and Azure really a couple? I can't believe it. I think Dr. Crab will be called as a witness today. There are still many unanswered questions, but I hope to solve them all in today's trial. I believe in you too. I know you can do it. And we will, Sasha. We promise. Court is now in session for the trial of Sasha Buckler. The defense is ready. Ready. Now I'm completely thrown off. Very good. It appears both the prosecution and the defense are ready. Yesterday, it was proven that the Orca was not guilty and that the victim fell to his death. Prosecutor Blackwell, did your investigation of the Orca pool area turn up anything? It did. We found a blood stain from the victim at the bottom of the pool. On this. Oh my, what a frightening looking rock. Can you say it has a blood stain on it? Just looking at it gives me the willies. So can we assume that there was no water in the pool at the time of the incident? Very good. What a clever little deduction. Well, it's nice to get a compliment from the prosecution for a change. Prosecutor Blackwell has completely tamed the judge with his carrot and stick approach. I guess I should have brought a few carrots of my own. Right. Moving along, I have prepared a witness. Buckler was the only one who entered that room when there was no water in the pool. No? The witness will prove that. Come to the stand, witness. I have, it's not proof enough, but I would say witness account from like literally all the staff would be able to say, you cannot move that orca out of there without at least 2 people. One of them to operate the lift, the other one to monitor and make sure the orca is not actually like, flopping out. And Dr. Crab doesn't have any logs, I assume, of the orca from the time of, 3 a.m.? Basically, early in the morning, and of course, Orla did get fed that night, even though he doesn't know. So we know that Orla wasn't being monitored at that time. Anyway. Dr. Herman Peep. Sniper, stay in there! And who is that cute little creature? Such a restless bird. Quite unlike Taka. Quite unlike Taka. Wow. Chalk went up for Taka. He shut Sniper up with a single sound. Son of a gun. Dr. Herman Crab, Shipshape Aquarium's veterinarian. And could you tell us the name of your cute little friend there as well? Your Honor, please focus on the case. But it's important to learn all we can about the witness. This is Sniper. Oh, hello, Sniper. She's the offspring of a penguin named Rifle. Sniper lives in my hair. She might cause a commotion now and then, but please try to ignore her. I was originally going to call the animal keeper to the stand, but he refused to testify, so I settled on the veterinarian. Now tell us, why was the defendant in the orca pool room when the water was drained? We're jumping right into it, huh? In the earlier morning hours of July 20th, Sasha was cleaning the orca pool room. Sasha and Jack Shipley, the owner, were scheduled to do the cleaning together. During the cleaning, the pool water is drained. While the cleaning was going on, Marlon was taking care of the orca in the show pool. The pool water would never be drained unless the pool was being cleaned. Your claim is that the victim was made to fall to his death during the cleaning. Only Buckler and the owner had the security card necessary to enter the orca pool room. And we already know from the security company's record of the card usage, that the defendant was in the orca pool room during the time of cleaning. The witness's testimony and the record of the security card usage are conclusive evidence. So no one besides the defendant was at the scene, and the water in the pool was drained. Uh-oh. The judge already seems to be leaning toward the other side. We have to strike fast. Your Honor, we're ready for our cross-examination now. Oh, yes, of course. Please proceed then. Power of youth comes in handy at times like these. Give me the exact hours, please. Why is the cleaning done so early in the morning, essentially in the middle of the night? Our aquarium is open every day of the year without break, so of course the cleaning has to be done at night when there are no visitors. No days off, is that it? I can relate to that. Yeah, I guess prisoners don't get to take days off. Things sure are different around our office, huh, boss? You don't have to rub it in quite so enthusiastically. So, was the defendant cleaning alone? No. I don't have any evidence for that, even though we have, we have testimony from Buckler. But Miss Buckler said that Mr. Shipley never showed up to help with the cleaning. I don't know anything about that. All I know is what was on the schedule. Maybe they changed plans. They probably felt awkward with each other after their fight. In any case, there's no proof the victim entered the orca pool room during the cleaning.
Objection!
If you don't stop your yammering, I will pull your tongue out and barbecue it. Ugh. You have to be so violent? Proof or none, the victim must have entered the pool during the cleaning. Witness, tell him why. Jack must have entered the orca pool room. The reason I think so is because...
Hold it!
That is true. Don't you mean to say that the record shows both of their cards being used? No, only Sasha's. But they must have gone in together. Jack's body was found in that room, so that's the only logical explanation. Oh, is the stretcher going to be used to transport the body? We talked about this just yesterday. What purpose does that brain of yours serve? You're even more bird-brained than Rifle.
Objection!
Witness, I will not allow birds to be belittled in my presence. Limit your disparaging comments to the defense alone. So I get disparaged either way. Great. Bird lover, huh? I guess we're not destined to become best friends. That is fine. All I need for you is to talk about the state of the scene during the cleaning. Alright, fine. Oh, I don't know. I think the two of them were made for each other.
Hold it!
So the cleaning is done with the pool drained of water? That's right. They use the hoist there to lower themselves to the bottom of the pool. They can do regular cleaning with the water in the pool, but this was an intensive session. I never cleaned my own lab, however. Don't you think it might be due, then? I guess I can't talk, though. Well, Sasha and Marlon come in and clean it for me on occasion. But I'm too busy myself. I have animals to look after, like this one, for example. Such an adorable little creature. It lends cheer to this bleak courtroom. Your reaction to Taka was very different, as I recall. Oh, Taka's a fine bird too, of course. Please, continue, Dr. Crab. Quickly now. As I was saying, Sasha was cleaning the orca pool room. While the cleaning was going on, Marlon was taking care of the orca in the show pool.
Hold it!
So Orla was moved all the way over to the show pool. Why is that? Well, it wouldn't do to get her covered in cleanser, would it? Of course she was moved. You don't take a bath while you're cleaning the tub, do you? Excellent point. I usually clean the tub after I take a bath myself. I was assigned to clean the shower stalls yesterday. They were cleaner than an Edo bathhouse by the time I was done. I guess Prosecutor Blackwell is the fastidious type. I polished it so well, I bet the inmates are slipping and sliding all over right about now. Maybe he's not so much the fastidious type as the prankster type. Somehow, I don't think that's it either. Anyway, cleaning the orca pool is just like cleaning the tub. The pool water would never be drained unless the pool was being cleaned.
Hold it!
There's no possibility it would be drained at any time other than... There's no possibility it would be drained any other time other than the cleaning? None. Ugh, shot down with a single word. Why are you so certain? Think about it. If the pool water were drained, what would happen to the orca? The poor thing! Whose side are you on, Athena? Exactly, young lady. Without water, Orla would be alright for a short period of time. But anything longer than that would pose serious risks. She could even die. So the fact that Orla is alive and well is proof the water wasn't drained on her. That's right. The orca pool and the show stage pool are next door to each other. A hoist runs between the two to move the orca and the equipment back and forth. When intensive cleaning is done, the orca is moved to the stage pool first. So the water is only drained while the pool is being cleaned. Please add that information to your testimony.
Hold it!
I guess you're right. Son of a gun. Then why did you harp on it so? The defense loves to make a fuss over nothing. You do like to stir up trouble, don't you, Mr. Lawyer? Just like this one. Look at him go! How rude. Don't compare Mr. Wright to Sniper. Granted, his suit may make him look a little like a penguin. Athena? Is that what she really thinks of me? Ugh, I wish Sniper and Miss Baby Chick would both stop all the peeping and cheeping. Miss Baby Chick? How dare you? No, wait, that actually sounds pretty cute. Wow, you just got away with calling you a young woman a chick in court. Somehow we have to show that the water could have been drained at some other time. If we don't, Sasha will be the only one under suspicion. There must be a hint somewhere. I better look through the evidence again. I have to find out how the water could have been drained while Orla was there. I mean, we do have this picture.
Objection!
Yeah, boneheadedness, I understand. Fine. You wanted it on the next statement, even though this is like a better answer. Here, same piece of evidence, take it.
Objection!
If the water in the pool is drained, you say the orca could die. But is that necessarily true? What are you talking about? There is a way to let the water out without harming the orca, isn't there? Your Honor, please allow me to submit this photograph. It's a little bit homemade, but you know. Oh, this is... As you can see, there is no water around the Skull Rock area. With the pool in this state, the victim could have been made to fall to his death. However, there is water on the other side of the partition, and Orla looks just fine. Son of a gun. In other words, if the partition is set up at the bottom of the pool, the water can be drained without doing Orla any harm. Are you implying that water could have been drained? Are you implying that the water could have been drained at a time other than during cleaning? Yes, there is that possibility. Dr. Crab is shaking. Looks like he has something to hide. Would it have something to do with the calendar note about the meeting with the victim? It might. I'll submit it to the judge. Your Honor, please take a look at this calendar. Oh, you waved that around in court yesterday. No need to drag out your souvenir today. Actually, I would like you to make note of the entry for the day of the incident. Let me see here. Meet the captain at the orca pool at 7 a.m. This note is about a meeting planned with the victim. What? The defense would like to argue that, at the time of the meeting, the pool may have been drained of its water. Whose calendar is that? It belongs to Dr. Herman Crab. Isn't that right, Dr. Crab? Son of a gun. So you suspect me, do you? What is the meaning of this calendar entry, Dr. Crab? Explain yourself. Fine. I was supposed to meet Jack at the orca pool at the time, but I ended up not going. So you're saying you simply broke your promise? You can't get out of it that easily. I believe you have some explaining to do.
Objection!
Your blade is sharper than I thought, Wright, Dono. But your cut was shallow. A mere surface scratch. There's a saying among prisoners. Do not see, hear, nor speak to smooth-talking lawyers. Do you think the witness is suspicious? Show your proof. Ugh. Calendar alone isn't good enough, huh? I have to prove the victim could have fallen to his death at that 7 a.m. meeting time. Let's put our heads together, boss. The victim could have fallen during cleaning when the pool was completely drained. Or, using the partition, it could have been at 7 a.m. with the water partially drained. What would be the major difference in circumstances between these two possibilities? What circumstance was different? The answer could really tell us something. What circumstance was different between the two possibilities of cleaning and 7 a.m.? The orca was there. The time of day was different. If the murder occurred at a time other than during cleaning, the orca must have been there. Oh, you're right. And that would mean that Orla witnessed the murder. What's this? You're sheathing your sword so soon? Stop yammering to each other and show me how you wield your sword. Alright then. My sword is poised and ready. If the murder was committed at a time other than during cleaning time, then Orla must have been present at the scene. If I can prove that the murder happened right in front of Orla, then I can prove that Miss Buckler is not guilty. Mr. Wright, Are you implying that the orca was a witness to the crime? That is exactly what I'm implying. And? How do you intend to prove the orca witnessed the murder? What are you going to do? Put the orca on the stand and cross-examine her? This is a critical point. I'd better think about it carefully. The defense will... It's not the first time I've cross-examined an animal. If I asked Orla if she witnessed the murder, I'm sure she would tell me everything. Really? How interesting. And how do you propose to communicate with the orca? Well, I have to think about that. Unlike some birds, an orca is incapable of human speech. No, I'm afraid I can't allow you to cross-examine a creature that cannot speak. Unless the defense has some other way of communicating with the orca. No, I'm afraid I don't, Your Honor. I guess that was a silly idea. Please let me try again, Your Honor. So what am I trying to prove again? I'm trying to prove that... Prove that the orca witnessed the murder. Continue with Crab, I guess. I'll continue my cross-examination of Dr. Crab. That's fine with me, but I've already said everything I have to say. You still haven't told the court why you broke your promise to meet with the victim.
Objection!
Before we get into that, why don't you take care of your orca witnessing the murder, Balderdash, first? Damn, Balderdash? Is that some sort of shot at me? That seems to be quite a sensitive subject with the judge. Maybe I'd better come up with something that isn't Balderdash. Alright, present evidence. The defense will present evidence. Evidence that will prove Orla witnessed the murder. I keep trying to say orca. You're going to present evidence? Knowing the defense, I thought surely you would try to cross-examine the orca. I must say I'm a little disappointed. Gee, sorry to get your hopes up, Your Honor. Very well. Let's see this evidence, then. What evidence shows that the murder took place right in front of the orca? Oh, right. The skull rock.
Take that!
I have no idea how that evidence is relevant. I thought maybe if I presented it with confidence, it would all work out somehow. Nothing to say for yourself, is that it, Mr. Wright? Damn. Your Honor, please allow me to present a different piece of evidence. Very well, let's see this evidence then. I mean, so I thought this because it was moved during the show pool cleaning time, moved from the show pool during cleaning time, and I guess we haven't proven that Jack wasn't there during cleaning, I guess. I guess it would have to be this, right? Because the blood wouldn't stick to the rock if it was in the water. At least not as much to the degree that it was there.
Take that!
Yeah. This photo indicates where we discovered luminol reactions yesterday. By accident, we got some of the luminol testing fluid on Orla. We were then very surprised to see luminol reactions on Orla's body.
Objection!
So what of it? There's nothing odd about that. As was discussed in yesterday's trial, the orca was bleeding. Traces of orca's blood was also found on that skull rock. The orca must have injured herself when she rammed the rock. So that cloud of blood Mr. Plume saw was from Orla headbutting the skull rock, was it? Those luminol reactions you saw on the orca are most likely from her headbutting.
Objection!
But what's odd is the position of those bloodstains. Please take a good look at the photograph. Yesterday, Mr. Plume said the blood disappeared when Orla put on the hat. That testimony indicated that Orla's injuries were under the hat area. However, these luminol reactions are in two entirely separate areas from her injuries. These bloodstains can't be Orla's own blood from when she was headbutting. Then where did the blood come from? It's my firm belief that it's the victim's blood. The victim was killed right in front of Orla, and the victim's blood splattered onto Orla's body. Now it finally all makes sense. Orla was a witness to the murder. So that's why. There's one more fact that indicates Orla was a witness to the murder. There's more? The culprit was afraid Orla could somehow reveal what she witnessed. And that's why they did what they did. It's the only thing that makes sense. I have to present that evidence. That evidence that proves the culprit thought Orla was a dangerous witness. The defense would like to submit this evidence. What's this? It looks like some sort of medicine. It's a sleeping drug, Your Honor. A very powerful one. This sleeping drug was discovered in Orla's stomach yesterday. Culprit tried to drown Orla by putting her into a deep sleep. Tried to drown the orca, but why? Right, Dono? Are you trying to tell me this court? Are you trying to tell this court that the perpetrator tried to kill the orca off to prevent a witness from talking? Do you really expect to defeat me with that feeble attack? My sword has been drawn. I'm not about to sheathe my evidence now. Orcas have an enormous potential for intelligence. The possibility that Orla could somehow manage to reveal the truth can't be denied. The culprit believed in this possibility, and that's why they tried to kill her. Dr. Herman Crab, you purchased this sleeping drug, didn't you? What? Does this mean the veterinarian tried to do away with the orca? Who but a veterinarian would know better how to disguise an orca's death? He can even prevent the police from examining Orla's body. Why, are you actually accusing me of trying to murder the orca? How dare you! Slander the noble profession of a veterinarian! My goodness, one could cut the tension in this courtroom with a knife. Is he actually going to kick down the stand? Yes, I admit to purchasing that sleeping drug. However, it was subsequently stolen from my lab. It's such a flimsy excuse. It's the truth. What else can I say? Any one of the crew members could have entered my lab. I guess that weakens my evidence quite a bit. Besides, think about it for a minute. Who was it that treated Orla after she swallowed the drug? It was I. But as I recall, it took you quite a while to give that treatment. You didn't even come on your own. We had to go get you. Son of a gun. You just remember all sorts of little details, don't you, Mr. Lawyer? The orca pool and the lab are far apart. It's little wonder he didn't know about Orla's condition.
Objection!
Didn't know? That's highly doubtful. As far apart as they are, Dr. Crab still had a way to know all about Orla's condition. The defense would like to submit evidence that the witness knew about Orla's condition.
Take that!
The torpedo. You just had to bring that up, didn't you? With this advanced data system, surely you would have known Orla's condition.
Objection!
Wait just 1 minute. What is this torpedo? Dr. Crab, how dare you bring a weapon of mass destruction into my courtroom? A torpedo, or Teleobservation Real-Time Pertinent Data Organizer, is a data system. You remembered that? What the hell? Until yesterday, only Dr. Crab and Mr. Shipley knew about the torpedo. It isn't legally approved in this country, so it was kept secret from the police. It's illegal? Dr. Crab, I demand an explanation. Sniper's monitoring his head. Son of a gun. You and your big mouth, Dr. Lawyer. Yes, it's true. I'm using an illegal system to monitor the creatures of the aquarium. The system uses sensors like these, and yes, there's one in the orca pool too. These sensors send sound waves through the water to gather data on the creatures. If it finds abnormalities in their condition, the torpedo alerts me with a sound. There was a key point that he just said there. It sends sound waves through water, but the pool was empty enough where the sound waves, or the camera for it, wouldn't actually reach her. Oh my goodness, how very high tech. But if it's illegal, I will not turn a blind eye. This matter will be appropriately dealt with at a separate time. Now then, Mr. Wright, please continue. With the torpedo, I'm sure Dr. Crab noticed the danger Orla was in, but he made no attempt to come to her aid on his own. And the reason for that is that Dr. Crab wanted Orla dead. The torpedo didn't give me a warning message. That's why I didn't know there was anything wrong with Orla. The sensor in the orca pool wasn't working during the police's investigation. Can you prove that statement? What's with him? I guess this is also high tech for Prosecutor Blackwell that it's making him a little funny. Funny? Yes, I find this all very funny. Witness, those sensors send sound waves through water, correct? But what if there isn't any water? Then they wouldn't work. They would automatically switch off. I see. And where is the sensor in the orca pool located? I don't know. Jack is the one who attached it for me. You don't know? Then I will tell you. The police found a sensor just like the one you just showed us. They found it attached to the table at the bottom of the pool. Table? You mean the table in this photograph? That's right. Don't you get it yet, right, Dono? The table is on the Skull Rock side of the partition. It's affixed to the bottom of the pool and can't be moved. And so if this water was drained from the Skull Rock side of the pool, precisely. Without water, the torpedo sensor would not work. Witness, when did that sensor automatically switch off? Hang on, I'll look it up. The only times lately were during cleaning 2 days ago and the investigation yesterday. Of course I knew the pool would be drained while they cleaned it. But I had no idea they drained it for the investigation. No one let me know. That's why I didn't know about Orla's condition yesterday. So Dr. Crab really did want to save Orla. Did you hear that right, Dono? Yes, the water can be drained without harm to the orca if the partition is used. But if the water is drained from the Skull Rock side, the sensor turns itself off. If the sensor was always on except during the cleaning and the investigation, it means there must have been water in the pool at all other times. It was never drained. In other words, no one but the defendant could have committed the crime. Hold on. That's important. Hold on. Blackwell crab. During cleaning 2 days ago in the investigation yesterday. Oh, shit. That's no good. The only other possibility is that Marlin killed Jack in the show pool and then put him underneath the skull rock to try to hide the body, or inside the skull rock to try to hide the body. And then when the skull rock was dropped into the pool, Jack's body went down with it. Marlin, I'm on to you. Oh, actually, yeah. What's your name? Marlin Rhymes, Azure Summers, Azure Marlin, Blue Marlin. This completely shatters the defense's argument. But the fact still remains that Orla was nearly killed with Dr. Crab's sleeping drug. But aren't you forgetting one important question? When was the sleeping drug given to the Orca? You're right. This hasn't been discussed yet, has it? The Orca pool is the scene of the murder. The police were there all day yesterday. The only way to give the drug to the Orca undetected is to put it in her food. Yesterday, someone gave the Orca food during the trial. Someone did? I'm afraid I don't remember that. You don't remember? You're not that old yet, aren't you? It was the defendant, Sasha Buckler. Oh, shit. That wasn't the only time, though, right? Because Sasha was called in to testify. And then Marlin took over. The prosecution's argument hasn't changed. Did I read you? So their argument was that Buckler is the one who gave Orca the drug. Yeah. Buckler made the victim fall to his death and then manipulated the Orca to pin it on her. Still not satisfied, she further planned to kill the Orca with a sleeping drug. I didn't hear any reports of Dr. Crab feeding Orla. Maybe he didn't have a hand in Orla's attempted murder after all. But is there anyone else who could have fed Orla besides Sasha? If it's true the defendant is the one who fed the sleeping drug to the Orca, then that places even more suspicion on her than ever.
Objection!
The defense objects to the prosecution's claims. Well, you still haven't admitted defeat. Prosecutor Blackwell, I don't appreciate the way you only mention the parts that are convenient for you. What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? The prosecutor failed to mention that Miss Buckler wasn't the only one to feed Orla. As you will all recall, there was another person who gave Orla food. Oh, you mean that person? Looks like Athena remembers now, too. Time to celebrate. Go on, eat up. Look at all that fish! Oh, Mr. Wright. No, I don't want to believe it either, but we can't ignore the truth. The other person who fed Orla during the trial was... you!
Take that!
Please recall when Orla was found not guilty yesterday. Marlin Rhymes gave the Orca a large quantity of food. If the sleeping drug was mixed in with that food, it could be given to the Orca without arousing police suspicion. Now that you mention it, I do remember that flip-flopper feeding the Orca. That flip-flopper, that hip-hopper,
Objection!
that rip-ropper. So you remembered, did you? I see the time for a true sword fight has come. I call Marlin Rhymes to the stand. Mr. Lawyer, both Miss Orca Lover and Marlin Rhymes are important members of our crew. I don't want to suspect either of them, but I'm ready to accept whatever truth you find. Here, take this. That charm. It's the charm that matches the one Azure Summers had, isn't it? So you and Miss Summers were romantically involved, weren't you, Dr. Crab? What? No, of course not. Sorry to disappoint you, but this doesn't belong to me. At the time, I thought it was Azure's, so I grabbed it. But it wasn't hers. Now it's up to you, Mr. Lawyer, to figure out whose charm it is. I will. Thank you, Dr. Crab. After all, I'm interested in the outcome of this trial, too. Now then, please summon Marlon Rhymes to the witness stand. And this is why he didn't want to testify. Because he's scum! What's going on? What's everybody making that face for? I haven't been watching the trial and nobody told me anything. Marlon Rhymes, you are under suspicion for the attempted murder of the orca. I see. Well, if it's already out... Mr. Rhymes? Is he really going to admit it? Fine. I'll tell the truth. Instant testimony. Sasha is lying to protect that orca. At 3:30 a.m. on the 20th, there was still water in the orca pool. The incident happened before the orca was moved to the show pool. Orla killed the captain by bashing him 30 feet high and making him slam into the water. So I thought the orca should pay the consequences. What? Now we're back to the orca again? I did not see that testimony coming. Now wait just 1 minute. Yesterday Orla was proven innocent. Besides, you said Orla was in the show pool during the cleaning. I didn't want to sell Sasha out. That's why I didn't tell the truth. But the fact is, all three of us, the captain, Sasha, and me, were cleaning the pool room. Dr. Crab and Miss Buckler both said you were at the show stage. Well, the only thing Dr. Crab knew about the cleaning was what I told him. I didn't give him a whole bunch of details either. Maybe he misunderstood. And Sasha is lying to protect the orca. She can't tell the truth. Sasha put blood on the skull rock herself to make a fake bloodstain. I think it's pretty brave of her to not let herself get arrested to protect the orca. Mr. Rhymes, how can you lie like that? It's the truth. Besides, wouldn't it be better for you if I wasn't lying? If the orca did it, you win your case. What? This is all very hard to believe. But if Mr. Rhymes' story is true, Miss Buckler would be innocent, and the orca would be the killer. Meaning, we turned our backs on Orla. We could save Sasha? Having a witness lie to save your own client? What a dirty, underhanded tactic, Wright, don't know.
Objection!
Yesterday, the defense proved Orla was not guilty. We have no intention of going back on our assertions now. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? All you gotta do is admit the orca did it and Sasha goes free. Isn't a lawyer supposed to act in his client's best interest? But that wouldn't be acting in her interest. Miss Buckler believes Orla is innocent. And we, of course, believe that Miss Buckler herself is innocent too. Acting in the client's best interests is an important part of our job as lawyers. Using dirty means to win a verdict would destroy our client's faith in us. That's right. We believe in both Miss Buckler and Orla's innocence. Huh? I just don't understand how you can treat a human and an orca equally. Sasha or the orca? You can only save one of them. I don't know about that. I think I can save them both. All I have to do is disprove your testimony. Oh yeah? Then go ahead and try. I'll do just that. If I can't tear down his testimony, I won't be able to save both of them. I have to find a weak spot and start tearing. Yeah. Let's see.
Objection!
When lies are piled on top of each other, contradictions start to emerge. This time is no different. Are you saying there's some kind of inconsistency in my testimony? That's exactly what I'm saying. You claim that the victim was sent flying about 30 feet into the air. But the autopsy report shows the apparent cause of death to be from a 65-foot fall. What? Additionally, in your testimony a moment ago, you said at 3:30 a.m. on the 20th, there was still water in the orca pool. With the pool being 65 feet deep, there's only 30 feet between the water and the ceiling. If the pool was full of water as you claimed, it would be impossible for the victim to fall about 65 feet, as the autopsy states. Eat shit, Marlin! Mr. Rhymes claimed he was in the orca pool room so he could make these statements. The truth must be he was at the show stage, just as Dr. Crab and Sasha testified. I believe that brings us back around to the orca didn't do it. I didn't believe the witness's testimony from the outset. I'm grateful to you, Wright, for shutting the witness up. As I thought, the only person who could have killed the victim is Sasha Buckler. That fact still remains, whether the witness was the one who tried to kill the orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rhymes was right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case. But pointing out the contradiction in his statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwell said, suspicion against Miss Buckler is now deepened. Oh, if I don't do something fast, the judge is going to find Sasha guilty. Mr. Wright, isn't there anything we can do? There has to be a way to prove Sasha is innocent. At a time like this, the thing to do is turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sasha couldn't have done it, I have to prove what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. As long as the crime scene is the orca pool room, then Sasha is the only one who could have committed the crime. No need for pity, your baldness. Just finish him off with a swift verdict. It appears that the defense has no objections. Very well. I will give my verdict. Your Honor, please hold off on that verdict. But you were so quiet, Mr. Wright. Do you have something to say now? The defense has a counter-argument. You do? Pitiful. Such desperation. You look pale. Are you sure you're not prepared to make this argument? Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give it to them with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now? As I understand it, the prosecution's argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the orca pool room. Only the defendant and the victim entered that room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That is correct. But if the scene of the crime was not the orca pool room, then somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Are you sure you know where you're going with this? I might not be too sure, but I can't back down now. My voice is starting to get hoarse again. Mr. Wright, I hope I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs. But this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance. Nap room, the quiet room, next to the food prep room, arguably one of the loudest rooms. Cool design, fellas. So true. Of course not. The judge knows me far too well. And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was? Yes, of course. Think, Phoenix, think. Think of a place other than the orca pool room where one could fall to one's death. Then, by all means, please share your theory with the court. Where was the real scene of the murder? It was the show pool. The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just as possible to fall to one's death there as the orca pool. Right, Dono? What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting. Of course I do. I will, as soon as I think of something. The victim's body was found in the orca pool. How do you explain that?
Objection!
How about if after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the orca pool? How about if? What kind of presentation of your argument is that? You had better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved. There's no turning back now. I have to think of a way the body could have been moved. Was there something at the scene that could have been used to move the body? This better be a two-parter because there are two parts that are needed for this. The hoist runs between the orca pool room and the show stage. The stretcher can be hung from the hoist to move things like Orla or the Skull Rock. The stretcher could have also been used to move the dead body. Yes, if the stretcher can move the orca or the Skull Rock, it seems likely it could also move a dead body as well. Wow, I don't know how that worked. I might just be able to pull this off. If the show pool was the scene of the crime, nobody else could have done it.
Objection!
You desperately spew conjecture and now you even make up a crime scene? Yo, we're breaking the chains. Not again! You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean half-baked? The hoist can be operated from the orca pool room only. Gah. And the only person who entered the orca pool room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself. Narg! So it comes back to the defendant, no matter which pool it was. Meaning, I can't clear Sasha either way? Sasha said she moved Orla and the Skull Rock, and I believe her. So could it be possible that she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim? Do I have an objection to the claim that the defendant moved the body? I agree. I have no objections. Mr. Buckler must have been the one who moved the body. Miss Buckler. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No. I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware of what it was that she was doing. I contend Miss Buckler was not aware that that is what she was doing. There we go. The culprit made her move it, unbeknownst to her. The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body? How could that be possible? The body was found in the orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. I might find some kind of hint in the things that she moved with the stretcher. The culprit made Miss Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence.
Take that!
The Skull Rock? Miss Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the Skull Rock when she was cleaning. The only two things Miss Buckler moved to the orca pool are Orla and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the Skull Rock. Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the orca pool with the hoist. At the show stage, Marlon Rhymes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And then he used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. Miss Buckler operated the hoist from the orca pool room and moved the stretcher. She moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you really think there's enough space inside the Skull Rock to place a body? The swashbuckler flyer indicates it could be possible. Please focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh, it says, who will obtain the gold coins hidden in the skull rock? In that case, I suppose the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the skull rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as? Please take a look at the security footage on the scene Mr. Plume witnessed. Where did the body that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall. What was Orla doing to the skull rock at this time? She was headbutting it. Oh! That's right. Orla's ramming released the body from the skull rock. The body had been placed inside the skull rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was, in fact, the show stage pool.
Silence.
What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of evidence. It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the skull rock for yourself. You should find some kind of proof that the body was in there. Blood, fibers, hair. Right, don't know. Mr. Wright, that was incredible! You turned things completely around! And to think, it all started with that half-baked bluff, too. Oof, that was a close one. Did you really have to add that last bit? If the murder took place at the show stage, then who was the perpetrator? It is, naturally, the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, weren't you the one who loaded the skull rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Wow, Mr. Wright, that was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony before, Mr. Rhymes? That's perjury! Yeah. Hey, Judge, literally no one gives a shit about perjury in this series. People are lying through their teeth constantly. Sometimes unwittingly, as has been brought up in this particular game, thanks to Athena and her, her therapy sessions every time with Widget. But most of the time, it's completely on purpose, and it happens with almost every single witness. I'm going to take a short break. Be right back.